Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly, joined by Justin Godsey. This is The Real Sports Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already, go check out my video on Drew Holiday being traded to the New Orleans Pelicans for Nerlens Noel. Certainly, as a Sixers fan, I had a lot to say about that, so go check that out, and check out section215.com. That's section215.com for more reaction on that. Now, the biggest trade that ended up going down tonight is Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Jason Terry. They are all headed to the Brooklyn Nets for Gerald Wallace and 3 future first-round draft picks. Kevin Garnett has been in a Boston Celtics uniform since the beginning of the Big Three era, which I believe was in 2008. That he won his first and only NBA title there, went back to another one and had a great run there. And then Paul Pierce is headed over to Brooklyn. I think he was kind of a throw-in piece here to get Kevin Garnett to waive his no-trade clause. I'm not sure how much he has left at this point, but he is one of the behind guys like Bill Russell and Larry Bird. It's hard for me to think of historically anyone who's been much better in a Celtics uniform than Paul Pierce. He has had tremendous longevity and will probably go down as one of the top 50 or 60 NBA players of all time. So it's a crazy trade. They head to Brooklyn, and then the Boston Celtics are in the rebuilding mode. They get those 3 first-round picks back. Justin, what do you think?
You know, when you look at this deal, it's only going to be certain that the Brooklyn Nets, with the acquirements of Jason Terry, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett, these guys are going to stick around for a couple more years. They're in their 30s, with Jason Terry being at 35, Paul Pierce being at age 35 as well, and then Kevin Garnett, who I feel more than likely is going to retire after his tenure with the Brooklyn Nets. He's going to retire. He's 37, and you know what? Right now, the Brooklyn Nets, this team looks solid on paper. Mm-hmm. Now, when I run down this team's lineup, you got to understand this team looks amazing on paper, but when it comes to performance-wise, the Brooklyn Nets last season, you know, I had a lot of high hopes with the acquirement of Joe Johnson. It just didn't really go the way that they wanted. They got eliminated, losing to the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs. But when you look at this team with the acquirements of Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, they're a beast because you got Darren Williams, Brook Lopez. They're also getting they're getting a Gerald Wallace over to Boston as well. So that's going to be a downgrade for the team, but they're bringing in Paul Pierce, who's going to fill in his void in. So, you know, when you look at the team up once again, with Darren Williams, you're also going to be getting, you know, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Jason Terry. This team is really set to go. Also, on top of that, you got Brook Lopez. You know, the winner of this deal is going to be the Brooklyn Nets because only for this short time. The Boston Celtics, you know, they're losing a whole lot here. You know, Jason Terry, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. Those guys, they're getting up there at age, so, you know, it's time to get back to the rebuilding phase, and they're going to lose a lot. And I don't expect the Boston Celtics to go anywhere next season because, like I said, they're going to be in a rebuilding phase. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets are the winner of this deal. You know, it's going to be there's going to be about, you know, this is where the big pressure is going to be on right now. It's for the Brooklyn Nets to really make a big push. Because, like I said, when you look at this team, Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, Brook Lopez, and then now you're adding in Terry, Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. Yeah. You know, this team is really playoff ready when you look at it. But, you know, you just have to hope that, you know, Terry, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett hold up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, and there's rumors also of Chris Humphries and potentially Reggie Evans also heading elsewhere in this trade, so I think those details are still getting sorted out. The point is, though, Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, again, I'm not sure how much either of them have left, but you bring in Jason Kidd as a head coach, which was much scrutinized. I love that move because he relates to the players, because as of a few months ago, he was a player. You bring in Kevin Garnett and you bring in Paul Pierce, both of whom are winners. They have a winning attitude, and they are still extremely hungry to get back and win another championship before it is all said and done. So I love this move from that sense for the Brooklyn Nets. Did they give up a lot in this deal? Somewhat. They're taking on Jason Terry's contract, but they're also getting rid of Gerald Wallace's deal. And while Wallace is still a productive player, he was not performing at the level of that contract. And giving up 3 first-round picks, it's not going to help you long-term. But I think that they realized short-term they are a team that with the right amount of leadership can contend. And I think adding Kevin Garnett to the backcourt with Brook Lopez and then Paul Pierce to the front court with Darren Williams, I think that they feel like on the court they still have something to give, and leadership-wise this is going to be a huge addition. So Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry are on their way down to Brooklyn from Boston. Crazy NBA Finals, or not, well, it was a crazy NBA Finals too, but a crazy NBA draft, and a big trade going down in the midst of the second round in the draft. It gets finalized. I'm Tim Kelly for Justin Godsey. Please subscribe. This is The Real Sports Talk. We will catch you guys next time.